Deliverman Wong Han, on his red motorcycle, navigates the urban landscape at speed. His phone buzzes and he answers. An unknown female voice claims pregnancy with his child and requests a meeting. Preoccupied with his route, Wong Han dismisses it as a scam, stating he lacks time and hangs up, irritated. He accelerates again, weaving through traffic. Wong Han arrives at the XX delivery hub, where colleagues are engaged in gossip. With a cigarette in his mouth, he inquires of a heftier co-worker about their whispers. The co-worker explains the wealthy Su family's daughter is marrying the city's wealthiest magnate's heir, a subject of no consequence to Wong Han. The co-worker then displays a phone image of the beautiful Su daughter, lamenting the wasted union for such a perfect woman to marry the repugnant, worthless heir. As Wong Han glances at the photo, a flicker of recognition strikes him. His co-worker snatches the phone back, and Wong Han's memory clears. The co-worker asks if he too finds it regrettable for a decent woman to be subjected to such a dreadful individual. However, Wong Han recalls her as a drunken woman who once attempted to seduce him. A sudden understanding dawns. She's the one who called him moments ago. He ponders if the call was, in fact, genuine. The scene shifts back 1 month. The Su family's daughter stumbles down a hotel corridor. Dizzy, she suspects someone named Chin Hao poisoned her drink. She heads towards what she believes is her room, 809. In her befuddled state, however, she misreads the number. She discovers a door ajar and wonders if she neglected to secure it before entering. Within that room, Wong Han sits on his bed, dejected and consuming alcohol heavily. He reflects on being told his aura was too potent for an opportunity, resigning himself to his delivery profession. As he sits, inebriated and dispirited, the young woman, Suchi, stumbles into his room and collapses onto his bed. Dazed and feverish, she looks up at him, asking his identity and for assistance, complaining of a spinning head and extreme heat. Intoxicated himself, Wong Han finds himself captivated by her, noting her stunning appearance. As she draws nearer and pleads for help, he becomes flustered, wondering if he's dreaming. He clenches his fists, a spilled liquor bottle nearby. Overwhelmed by the intense situation, snapping back to the present, Wong Han is lost in this memory, gazing at Suchi's image on his co-worker's phone. His co-worker, Fat Tai, notices his distraction and calls his name. Fatty begins to mock him, reminding everyone of Han's fabricated tales, such as sleeping with a renowned film star. He sarcastically inquires if Han will now claim an encounter with the Su family heiress. The other co-workers join in, laughing and recalling his other outlandish stories, like being an international arms dealer or the scion of an elite Beijing family. Wong Han remains composed. He lights a cigarette and tells them they fail to comprehend, cryptically stating that his actions are openly displayed. Just as one of the men dismisses his assertions, their banter is interrupted. A sleek red luxury sports car arrives before the delivery center, astonishing all the drivers. The driver's door opens and a slender leg emerges, adorned with a high heel. The woman who steps out is Suchi, projecting poise and elegance. Wong Han's colleagues are captivated, their eyes transforming into hearts as they gawk at her beauty, dubbing her a total knockout. As she approaches them, one man recognizes her from the photograph. They realize with shock that the Su family heiress stands before them, unable to fathom her presence at their humble delivery hub. Suchi approaches Wong Han, who is casually stretching, and asks why he has ignored her calls. His colleagues, who were just ridiculing him, are utterly astounded. They cannot comprehend that Wong Han actually knows the celebrated Su family heiress. Wong Han maintains a cool demeanor, feigning ignorance of any missed calls and calmly queries the situation. Directly addressing the matter, Sui looks him in the eye and declares her pregnancy, stating the child is his. This announcement plunges his colleagues into shock. They shout in disbelief, incapable of processing that this affluent and beautiful woman carries their friend's offspring. One vows never to doubt Han's pronouncements again. Wong Han himself appears taken aback, rubbing his eyes as if in a daze, and asks if she is certain. Suki, her expression firm, instructs him to accompany her to the hospital for verification. As she waits by her vehicle, his colleagues frantically urge him to join her. A stressed Wong Han decides to go and requests a buddy to cover for him. The two then depart rapidly in her red automobile, leaving the astonished crew behind. Inside the car, the atmosphere is thick with tension. Wong Han questions if the baby is genuinely his. Suchi replies curtly, inquiring why she would fabricate such a serious claim. With a resolute gaze, Wong Han assures her that if the child is his, he will assume complete responsibility for both of them. Suchi casts a skeptical glance and scoffs at his pledge, questioning his capacity to fulfill it with his delivery job earnings. Unperturbed, Wang Han leans back and confidently asserts that an honest livelihood is nothing to be ashamed of and that providing for them will pose no challenge. Trivial. Annoyed by his casual attitude, Suchi abruptly accelerates, causing the car to jolt violently and propel Wang Han forward. He shouts at her, accusing her of deliberate action and questioning the significance of the Su family. The tense journey concludes as they arrive before a large hospital. Suchi parks and calmly informs him of their arrival. As they exit the vehicle, Suchi cautions Wang Han against using the word responsibility lightly. She reminds him of the severe repercussions should her family discover a food delivery driver impregnated her. This incenses Wang Han, who passionately avows that it is not a jest to him. If the child is his, he will unequivocally assume responsibility. Disregarding his outburst, Suki instructs him to enter. They proceed down a hospital corridor. Suchi leads him toward a door marked operating room, and Wang Han stops, shocked, questioning their destination. Suchi turns back to him with a determined expression and states she is proceeding, leaving him to grasp her intention to terminate the pregnancy. In a panic, he grasps her arm to halt her. He pleads with her, acknowledging she likely believes he cannot support her and a child, but insists that finances are not an obstacle and he will devise a solution. Just then, a nurse approaches, informing Suchi that it is time for her procedure. Suchi looks at Wang Han with a faint, unreadable smile, assents to the nurse's statement, and withdraws her arm. She enters the operating room, leaving Wang Han calling after her in desperation. He stands outside the closed door feeling powerless and frustrated, believing he is incapable of deterring this determined woman. Inside the operating room, Suki lies on the table in a patient gown. A surgeon inquires if she is prepared. As another surgeon prepares a syringe, instructing her to relax, she closes her eyes. But at the very last second, just before the procedure commences, she raises her hand and tells them to pause. Meanwhile, Wang Han sits slumped in the waiting area. He has resigned himself to the circumstances, believing that if she is determined not to have the child, he cannot intervene. Suddenly, the operating room door swings open, and Suchi emerges unchanged. Wang Han is astounded. He leaps to his feet, bewildered, and asks how she could be out so quickly, questioning if surgeries are that rapid in this era. Suki, seemingly unfazed, tells a baffled Wang Han she is fatigued and requests a ride home. Wang Han confidently agrees, placing an arm around her and boasting of his ability to pilot even a fighter jet. He takes the wheel of her red sports car and drives away from the hospital towards an affluent district known as Luan. During the drive, while Sui rests, Wang Han receives a call. The voice on the other end informs him of a bidding event that evening at John Tower, which the elder wishes him to attend. The caller also mentions that Lin Qingyan, a chamber president, is aligned with their cause. Wang Han calmly acknowledges these directives, hinting at a formidable, enigmatic aspect of his life, unknown to Sui. They soon arrive at a grand residence within the Su family's estate. Wang Han announces their arrival, awakening Suchi. She exits the vehicle and instructs him to depart before her family observes him. Noticing her pallor, Wang Han offers to escort her to the door, but she coldly rejects his concern, telling him to mind his own affairs. However, as she turns, her heel catches in a crack, causing her to lose her balance and cry out as she falls. With remarkable speed, Wang Han lunges forward and catches her just before she impacts the ground. As he helps her up, he chastises her for her clumsiness. Annoyed, Suki requests a repetition, and he reiterates, calling her remarkably inept. In a flash of anger, she pinches his side with all her might, eliciting a shout of pain. The sudden exertion takes its toll, and she winces. Observing her discomfort, Wang Han surprises her by scooping her into his arms. He carries her into the opulent residence and gently places her on a sofa. Retrieving a first aid kit, he begins to attend to her barefoot, which she twisted during the fall. She protests, urging him to depart, but he firmly instructs her to remain still. Just as he is wrapping her ankle, they are interrupted by two women who have entered the room. The newcomers are Yang Haiman, Sui's mother, and Lin Shifu, her closest companion. Suchi's mother looks at the scene in astonishment and demands an explanation for her daughter's presence. Wang Han and Sui simultaneously explain that she twisted her ankle. Then, addressing her astonished mother, Sui calmly announces that her boyfriend was merely assisting her with applying some medication. Wang Han is completely blindsided. Her mother, Yang Hui Min, appears even more shocked, pointing a trembling finger at the uniform-clad Wang Han and exclaiming in disbelief, inquiring if this man is truly her boyfriend. Reeling from her daughter's declaration, Yang Huan furiously demands to know what is transpiring and the identity of this delivery person. After a moment of silence, Suki backtracks, informing her mother with a strained smile that she was jesting. She clarifies that she twisted her ankle and the man simply helped her indoors. Her flustered yet relieved mother tells Suchi she frightened her, reminding her of her impending union with the esteemed Chin family and the imperative to avoid any missteps. Wang Han, who has remained silent, is offended by the mother's overt disdain and asks what is objectionable about being a deliverman. Yang Huiman scoffs, proclaiming him a low-class nobody attempting to associate beyond his station and advising him to cease his fantasies. Her insult strikes a nerve, and a furious expression contorts Wang Han's face. Before the situation can escalate, Suchi intervenes. She calmly tells Wang Han he may depart now and expresses her gratitude for his assistance. He gives a brief nod and turns to leave. As he departs, Sui's closest companion, Lin Shu, observes him with a thoughtful expression. After his departure, Yang Huimin instructs Linu to assist Sui to her chamber. With evident disgust, she orders someone to cleanse the floor where the loathsome deliverman stood. Later, in her bedroom, Linu assists Suchi to sit on her bed and immediately inquires about her genuine connection with that man. Suchi initially asserts no bond exists between them, but Linu remains unconvinced, insisting she cannot be deceived due to the discernible depth of Suchi's gaze toward him. Cornered by her friend's perceptiveness, Suki confesses the truth. She is pregnant with his child. Linshu is utterly astounded, exclaiming in disbelief at her pregnancy. She questions Suchi's judgment, inquiring why, out of all individuals, it had to be a deliverman. Suchi explains that she imbibed too heavily that day and dismisses it as an anomaly. Linu presses further, asking Suchi's intentions, reminding her that she cannot conceal the pregnancy indefinitely from the formidable Chin family. To her friend's astonishment, Suchi firmly declares her decision to retain the infant. Linu believes her friend has lost her faculties. Suchi attempts to assuage her, explaining that she conversed with the man, Wang Han, and he vowed to assume full accountability. However, Linu remains unconvinced. She vociferously urges Suchi to confront reality, reminding her of her lineage as a member of the Su family. She dismisses Wang Han as an unworthy deliverman for her and warns of grave repercussions should the Chin family discover the truth. Weary of the lecture, Suchi raises a hand to cease her, stating she will resolve the matter. She shifts the topic, inquiring about Linfu's return to town. Linu explains her grandfather journeyed to Jiangning to meet a prominent figure and observe a bidding event that evening, so she accompanied him. Suki's lack of interest irks her companion. Suddenly, Linu's demeanor changes, and she announces a brilliant notion. Leaning in, she imparts a sinister scheme to Suki. Should her secret be divulged, she should simply accuse the deliverman of rape. Suki responds with disgust, remarking, "What an awful idea that is." Meanwhile, Wang Han has departed the Su estate and is traversing the exclusive villa district. He retrieves his phone, muttering about the absence of taxis in this locale. Just then, a sleek black vehicle pulls alongside him. Wang Han observes a man in a distinguished suit emerging. The older, silver-haired gentleman approaches Wang Han and respectfully addresses him as young master. He introduces himself as Lin Qingyun, president of the Zhuang Chamber of Commerce, and explains he is present to escort him to the bidding event. Wang Han, piecing together the information, recalls the conversation and confirms his grandfather had apprised him of the arrangement, revealing a concealed connection to immense power that contrasts sharply with his existence as a deliverman. Accepting the offer, Wang Han informs Lin Qingyan that prior to the bidding, he requires a shower and a change of attire. Lining Yen respectfully concurs, promising to arrange all necessities as he opens the car door for his young master. They depart in a lavish black limousine. The scene transitions to the animated bidding event held in a grand ballroom populated by affluent attendees. Wang Han arrives, now transformed. He has exchanged his delivery jacket for a sharp, tailored suit, exuding power and confidence as he surveys the assembly. As he stands near a window, his attention is drawn to a familiar countenance. It is Lin Shifu, Suki's closest confidant, attired in a stunning white evening gown. She approaches him with disdain, inquiring about the deliverman's presence at such an exclusive gathering. Before he can respond, she leaps to a conclusion, accusatorily asking if he is engaged in part-time employment. Before Wang Han can correct her, she seizes his arm and forcibly escorts him away, stating she requires a conversation. In a more secluded area, she confronts him, proclaiming that Sui is her closest companion and is pregnant due to him. She sternly warns him that should he fail to assume full responsibility upon the child's birth, she will ensure he regrets it. Wang Han is utterly astonished by this. He informs her he believed Suchi had procured the abortion at the hospital. Lin Shifu furiously corrects him, stating he is mistaken and Sui elected to retain the pregnancy. This fresh information astounds Wang Han, who exclaims her name in disbelief. He realizes she must not have proceeded with the surgical procedure. Lufu, perceiving his hesitation as an indication of potential dereliction of duty, reiterates her threat, warning that should he attempt to abscond, he will face regret. To underscore her point, She forcefully grinds her stiletto heel onto his shoe, causing him to cry out in pain as she turns away with grim satisfaction. Just as Linu departs, an announcer's voice cuts through the ballroom, informing guests that the bidding is imminent. Still processing Suchi's decision to retain the infant, Wang Han experiences a newfound urgency. He cannot comprehend it and resolves to conclude his affairs expeditiously so he may seek her out. At that moment, a woman in a business suit approaches and respectfully addresses him as young master. She introduces herself as Lu Yue, his newly appointed assistant, assigned by Chairman Lin Qingyun. Acknowledging her, Wang Han declares it is time to proceed. The two move towards the primary event area with a commanding presence. As they assume their positions, a stout, flamboyantly attired gentleman makes his way to the forefront. He smugly announces to the attendees that the day's principal bid, the new district project, is being claimed by the Qin family. Twirling his mustache, he warns everyone to show them deference or face repercussions. This arrogant individual is Qin Lei, the eldest young master of the Qin family. Wang Han asks his assistant the identity of the man. Lu Yue explains he hails from the Qin family, one of Jiang Ning's wealthiest lineages and their principal adversary for the project. With a dismissive air, Wang Han questions if an individual such as that could contend with him. Lu Yue elaborates that the Qins intend to secure the project and subsequently leverage their matrimonial alliance with the Su family to extricate them from certain predicaments. The mention of the Su family makes everything fall into place for Wang Han. He recalls his co-worker's diatribe concerning Miss Su being wedded off to a repugnant wealthy individual. He realizes this arrogant man, Qin Lei, is the fiancé Suchi is slated to marry. With a grim expression, he now comprehends the complete scenario, connecting Suchi's betrothal, her family's predicaments, and this bidding conflict. The auctioneer presents the principal item, Lot 053, in the new district. Without hesitation, Qin Lei raises his paddle and initiates with a bid of 5 billion. The assembly erupts in astonished whispers, recognizing the Qin family's resolute intent to prevail. They murmur that with the impending Qinsu union, no one would dare challenge them. Just as the auction appears decided, Wang Han calmly raises his bidding paddle and counters with 6 billion. The room falls into stunned silence, then erupts into frantic chatter. Guests ponder the identity of this audacious individual, assuming he must not be a local to dare oppose the Qin family. They believe the project was a certainty for the Qins, and they will not tolerate this transgression. Across the room, Qin Lei's smug expression vanishes, replaced by unadulterated fury. He clenches his fist so tightly his knuckles turn white. He glares ferociously at Wang Han and shouts across the room, demanding to know his identity and accusing him of seeking confrontation. The confrontation has commenced. Facing Qin Lei's outburst, Wang Han remains composed. He calmly points out that they are at an auction where the highest bidder prevails and inquires if there is an issue. Qin Lei, his visage contorted with rage, retorts, asking if Wang Han did not hear his pronouncement that the Qin family desired this project. With supreme confidence, Wang Han replies that he heard perfectly clearly but questions its relevance to him. The surrounding guests are astonished, murmuring about this enigmatic individual who would dare challenge the formidable Qin family. Not to be outdone, an enraged Qin Lei raises his paddle and shouts a bid of 700 million. Without missing a beat, Wang Han counters with 800 million. The bidding war continues and the tension intensifies. Qin Lei storms over to Wang Han with his retinue, confronting him directly and screaming that in Jiangning City, the Qin family dictates the law. He makes a final desperate bid of 900 million, daring Wang Han to continue bidding if he possesses a death wish. Wang Han simply laughs, a picture of calm amusement, and casually announces a bid of 1 billion. Having been utterly and publicly humiliated, Qin Lei finally breaks. He screams that Wang Han is provoking him and threatens to dismember him as he throws a wild punch at Wang Han's face. But Wang Han is impossibly swift. He easily evades the clumsy assault and with a single motion delivers a powerful blow to Qin Lei's face. As Qin Lei is sent flying, crying out in pain, Wang Han contemptuously asks if he believed he could confront him alone. As Qin Lei lies dazed, his two bodyguards leap to their feet and charge at Wang Han. The ensuing altercation is brutally efficient. Wang Han moves with incredible agility, effortlessly dispatching them with potent kicks and strikes, leaving them defeated on the ballroom floor. Qin Lei struggles to regain his footing, holding his bruised face in disbelief. He screams at Wang Han, accusing him of harboring a death wish for daring to lay a hand on him. Wang Han, with a cold smirk, retorts that he is now the one delivering the blows. He launches another assault, sending one of Qin Lei's men airborne with a potent kick. The bodyguard crashes down with a resounding thud directly onto his superior, rendering them both unconscious in an undignified heap. With the fight concluded in mere seconds, Wang Han stands calmly amidst the ensuing chaos. He turns to the stunned room and casually asks the terrified auctioneer if anyone else intends to bid. The auctioneer, stammering, swiftly replies that there are no further bidders. Having secured the auction, Wang Han's business is concluded. He turns to his assistant, Lu Yue, and instructs her to sign the documents and transfer the funds, explaining that he has urgent matters to attend to. He offers a final wave and confidently exits the ballroom, leaving everyone to process the shocking demonstration of power they have just witnessed. The narrative shifts to an opulent chamber where Lin Shi stands before her grandfather, who is the same Lin Qingyun who serves Wang Han. She inquires why he summoned her urgently, causing her to miss the auction. Her grandfather cautions her to exercise discretion once their guest arrives, admitting he has yet to ascertain this individual's temperament. Lin Sufu scoffs, wondering what influential figure could induce her formidable grandfather to act so cautiously. Just then, an aide enters and informs the chairman that the auction has concluded. Lin Qingyun asks if the Qin family prevailed, but the aide reports that another party emerged victorious. Linu is astounded, exclaiming that it is impossible. She cannot fathom the project eluding the Qin family's grasp and wonders who could possess the audacity to seize it. Her grandfather calmly informs her that the individual they await has arrived. Observing her phone, likely a news update, Lin Sufu remarks that this person is excessively arrogant. Deciding this news is too significant to defer, she informs her grandfather that she is departing to contact her friend Nansuki. As she walks down a corridor, she is absorbed in her thoughts and her phone conversation. She contemplates how the Qin family's failure jeopardizes their planned collaboration with the Su family. Determined to convey this information to her closest friend, she pays no heed to her surroundings. She walks directly into Wang Han, who is proceeding in the opposite direction. The collision is jarring, and she lets out a small cry as she bumps into his chest. Furious, she looks up and is shocked to see his countenance. She vociferates at him, demanding to know why it is him again and berating the offensive food delivery man for not observing his path. However, her urgent call takes precedence. She quickly turns her back on the silent Wang Han and continues walking, speaking into her phone to impart her significant news to Sui. Wang Han simply observes her departure with a quiet, inscrutable expression. After Linu departs, Wang Han enters to confer with Lin Yun. The elder greets him respectfully. Wang Han confirms his business at the auction is complete, and then casually inquires about the woman he just encountered. Lin Qingyun introduces her as his granddaughter, Linu, pointedly mentioning her unmarried status. He praises her, stating she greatly admires Wang Han and has always wished to meet him. This attempt at matchmaking amuses Wang Han, who dismisses it with a weary, "Give me a break." Shifting the subject, Wang Han sits and inquires if Lin Qingyun knows Suchi. Lin Qingyun explains she is the young lady of the Su family, the most accomplished talent of her generation, but has remained out of public view due to the family's preference for sons over daughters. He confirms the Qin family intended a matrimonial alliance with the Su family following their success in the project. But due to Wang Han's intervention, that plan is now postponed. Curious, Wang Han probes for further personal details, inquiring about Suchi's daily routines and romantic history. Lin Qingyun informs him that the Su family enforces a highly stringent upbringing and Suchi possesses a stubborn disposition. He states that she does not readily form connections and, to his knowledge, has never had a romantic partner. This new information elicits a sly, knowing smile from Wang Han. Just then his phone rings. The caller ID displays Suchi's name, and he answers smoothly, telling her he was just contemplating her. On the other end, Suchi asks if he is available and expresses a desire to see him. Wang Han immediately agrees and requests her location. His urgent business now apparent, Wang Han stands to depart. He informs Lin Qingyun that he is leaving and can relay his report to the elder. As Wang Han exits, Lin Qingyun makes one final effort to promote his granddaughter, mentioning her graduation from the Royal Academy in London, akin to Wang Han. Uninterested, Wang Han dismisses him, stating they can discuss it at a later time. The scene shifts to a park offering a vista of the city where Suchi sits alone on a bench, appearing pensive. A moment later, Wang Han arrives on his red motorcycle, now clad in his sharp suit. He walks over and occupies the seat beside her. Placing an arm around her, he directly addresses the matter at hand. He instructs her not to worry about the child and assures her he will support both of them. He then makes a definitive proposal, telling her that if she desires marriage, they can proceed to register their union at her convenience, solidifying his pledge of responsibility. Despite his confident assurance, Suchi remains skeptical. With a wry smile, she questions his capacity to afford such a commitment. Unfazed, Wang Han gazes into the distance and asks what he would be unable to afford. To illustrate her point, Suchi raises her wrist, displaying her expensive watch and asking if he knows its value. With surprising expertise, Wang Han correctly identifies the watch as a Pasha Dardier, a 42mm 18K rose gold model, and accurately states its price of 352,000. Suki is visibly astonished by his detailed knowledge. She presses him, asking his annual earnings as a deliverman and how many years he would need to labor merely to acquire that single item. Wang Han reassures her not to be concerned about finances and encourages her to have the baby. He confidently declares he will undoubtedly ensure she and the child are not wanting in material possessions, even boasting that providing for them would pose no difficulty. Suki, rolling her eyes at his grand pronouncement, dryly asks if it would be detrimental for him not to boast. Their conversation is interrupted when Suchi's phone rings. She answers, and her mother's frantic voice is on the line. Her mother demands her immediate return home, informing her that Shinho is present and awaiting discussion of the wedding. Suchi quietly acknowledges the summons. Turning to Wang Han, she asks him to take her home. With a charming smile, he tells her it would be his pleasure. He assists her onto his motorcycle, and they speed off. During the journey, Sudi leans against Wang Han's back, a faint, peaceful smile gracing her features as she closes her eyes, seemingly content. They soon arrive back at the Su family estate. Wang Han escorts her to the front door, and as they enter, Sui announces her arrival to her mother. Her mother, Yang Hui, immediately appears annoyed and scolds her daughter for her prolonged absence, informing her that Chinho has been waiting. In the background, a stout man in a suit is seated on the sofa. Suchi simply states she went for a walk. Her mother then notices Wang Han behind her and disapprovingly questions why she brought someone back, reminding her of her impending wedding to Chinho. The man on the couch stands and greets Suchi, confirming he is there to discuss wedding arrangements. He offers a suave smile and introduces himself as Chinho, the second young master of the Chin family. Confronting her fiancé, Chinho, Sui attempts to postpone their wedding. She informs him that given the Chin family's loss of the new district project bid, their planned cooperation is not finalized, and consequently, their marriage should also be deferred. Chinhao, however, dismisses the lost bid as a minor issue. With a sinister smirk, he insists they should marry first, and all other matters can be negotiated thereafter. His thoughts reveal his true intentions. He plans to consummate their union first, and then decide if he will provide the required funds to her family. Suki's mother, Yang Hui Man, desperately attempts to salvage the situation. She implores her daughter, reminding her that Chinho promised 1 billion to aid the Su family immediately upon their marriage. But Suchi interrupts her with a sharp, "Don't say any more." With fierce resolve, she declares she will not marry him. Her refusal leaves both her mother and Shinho stunned. Taking a bold step, Sui walks over to Wang Han, takes his arm, and announces that not only will she not marry Chinho, but she is also pregnant with Wang Han's child.